here we are again, folks, another mini-serp from Brother Peter. The Septuagint Bible, we're going to talk about that for a second. After the founding of Alexandria in BC 322, many Jews, on account of the commercial advantage and for other reasons also, were attracted to Alexandria. At one time, the city was said to contain over 100,000 Jewish people, and they were called Alexandrian Jews. That's what they were called because they were in Alexandria. So as you go through the Bible, you're going to find people called by the name of their town many times. And so this led to a new epoch in the history of the Bible. Greek was the prevailing language. Early in the 3rd century BC, this is before Christ now, 3 centuries before Christ, 3,000 years, preparation of the Greek-speaking Jews became so great that there was call for the Bible in the adopted tongue. In answer to it, the Hebrew Bible was translated into the Greek language about 280 to 130 BC. So less than a couple hundred years before Jesus, the Bible was translated into the Hebrew language. Besides all the books of the Hebrew Bible also contain several small books now called the Apocrypha. And the Greek Bible is called the Septuagint. Now, the Greek Bible is the one we use called the Septuagint. The Apocrypha, you can read it if you care to. I don't care to study it or repeat it here because some of it may be true, some of it may not, and that's the problem if you have something that's not canonized. Our Bible has all of the 66 books are canonized. That means they're written down in a Hebrew canon, rolled out, put in that canon, sealed, and we have them that way. All right, this Greek Bible is called a Septuagint, 70. Because it was thought to have been translated by 70 men. And so it's different than the one we have. And wherever Alexander carried his concept, there the Greek language prevailed, and whatever the Jews settled there was found the Septuagint. To the wide disposition of this version of the Old Testament may be attributed in great measure that the general expectation of the coming of the Messiah. Now, that Septuagint, it had the coming of the Messiah. That's the most important thing in the whole Bible, from Genesis 1:1 to Revelations 21:22. And so, over the whole of the East and the Magi, regeneration of the star, which proclaimed the birth of the King of the Jews. Now, recognition, not regeneration, recognition of the star. The Magi knew about the star that was going to come. And they recognized the second it came, they recognized it. They already knew it. They had it prophesied to them, and they knew it was going to come. And so they were looking for it. And when it did come, it was their time to go. In the time of our Lord, it was generally used and quoted by New Testament writers, especially by Paul. It was the Bible of the early Christian church until the conquest of Rome and until the Latin-speaking world required a translation in the Latin tongue. The early Latin translation were all made from the Septuagint. Now the Vulgate, this is a different Latin translation, current in the 2nd and 3rd, 4th century. Jerome translated the whole Bible in 384 to 445 AD, and from the original language in the splendid Latin. Latin has so much meaning per word, so much meaning. You can take it, and it's just like putting all the ingredients in a bowl and mixing it up and coming out with a perfect cake. And so this is how it worked out. And we have this Latin. All right, his translation differed much from the others in general, using that it met with great opposition at first. However, before many centuries it became the Bible of the Latin-speaking world and was adopted by the Council of Trent, April 8, in 1546, as the official Bible for the Roman Catholic Church, which the expedition of the Psalms and with the exception of the Psalms and the Apocryphal books, including in this Bible, it is Jerome's translation. And then we had the Syriac Bible. In the Syriac Bible, let's see if we want to go on. We're going to knock off right here, and we'll come back with the Syriac Bible later. So we're going to do a 5-minute.